Hello and welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanziba Nouri. In today's bulletin, we will present important news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Biden marks 50th anniversary of death of wife, daughter. Christmas tree demand remains high despite inflation. Snow pummels parts of northeast, thousands without power. Two minors killed, three wounded in shootout at Atlanta apartment. LA taps hotel rooms as estimated 40,000 people live homeless. Musk's poll shows Twitter users want him out as CEO. Cecily Strong leaves Saturday Night Live after 11 seasons. Avatar 2 makes waves with 134 million domestic debut. Condo resident killed 5 at Toronto area building. Dozens hurt in turbulent Hawaii flight, 11 seriously. Death toll in Afghan fuel tanker explosion rises to 31. Thai Navy searching for 31 missing sailors after ship sank. COVID-19 cases surge in Beijing after China eases virus rules. Putin in Belarus eyeing next steps in Ukraine war. Iran authorities arrest actress of Oscar-winning movie. Messi plans to play on for Argentina after World Cup win. And Senga can opt out of Mets deal if 400 IP in next 3 years. Now news in detail. President Joe Biden and his family held a private memorial service Sunday to mark the 50th anniversary of the car crash that killed his first wife and their baby daughter. Biden, who had just been elected to the Senate in November 1972, was not in the car when his wife, 30-year-old Nelia, and their 13-month-old daughter, Naomi, were broadsided by a tractor-trailer on December 18 of that year as they went out to buy a Christmas tree. The couple's two sons, Bo and Hunter, who were just about to turn 4 and 3 at the time, were also in the car and were seriously injured. The tragedy almost prompted Biden, also aged 30 when the accident happened, to give up his fledgling political career. But on the advice of other senators, he stayed in office, commuting back and forth from Washington to Delaware. Biden's raw openness around grief and his ability to empathize with fellow Americans who have experienced loss have become defining traits of his political career. For all the worries about inflation and the economy, Americans aren't scrimping on a centerpiece of many celebrations this holiday season, the Christmas tree. Retailers from Home Depot and Lowe's to mom and pop operations raised their prices on trees, but people are still buying them. Some Christmas tree growers fretted over external factors, high fuel, fertilizer and labor costs, only to rediscover that holiday greenery is largely inflation-proof, even as Americans cut back on retail spending last month. The cost of an average size tree from the local Rotary Club's Christmas trees in South Portland, Maine is $70, $5 more than last year. A survey of 55 of the nation's largest Christmas tree wholesalers indicated virtually all of them intended to raise prices, with most wholesale cost increases in the 5% to 15% range, but with some increases reaching 21% or more, according to the Real Christmas Tree Board in Howell, Michigan, which conducts marketing and research for the industry. But another survey indicated 85% of people feel Christmas trees are worth it despite price increases, the board said. That suggests a tree, whether real or artificial, remains a requisite part of the holiday tradition, along with Christmas toys, cards, and carols, and ugly sweaters. Utility crews raced Saturday to restore power to tens of thousands of customers across New England and New York after a powerful storm dumped 2 feet of snow in some places. More than 160,000 customers in New England were in the dark as of the afternoon, and another 20,000 were without power in New York as heavy snow brought tree limbs onto power lines, according to poweroutage.us, which tracks outage across the country. Restoration efforts were complicated by snow still falling in some places, making travel dangerous. Doug Foley, Eversource president of electric operations in New Hampshire, said snow-covered roads were making it tough for workers to reach communities in order to assess damage and make repairs. As of Saturday afternoon, Eversource had restored power to nearly 61,000 customers in New Hampshire since the beginning of the storm, but another 40,000 remained without power, according to the utility. 2 teenage boys were shot dead and 3 more minors were wounded in a shootout at an Atlanta apartment complex Saturday that police said originated as a dispute online. Officers responded to the complex in the city's southwest shortly after 5 p.m. 2 victims were pronounced dead at the scene, and the others were hospitalized for treatment. Deputy Chief Charles Hampton Jr. told reporters that the dead were 2 boys ages 14 and 16, and the wounded were 2 boys 11 and 15, and a 15-year-old girl. We know that there was some type of dispute on social media that escalated to gunfire, Hampton said. One group of individuals came to the apartment with their guns, and then the other group fired their weapons. Asked whether the incident could be characterized as a shootout, Hampton said that would be a fair assessment since multiple people were shooting. He also said the violence began inside an apartment and then carried over outside, which is where the 2 fatal victims were found. The new mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, said Sunday her administration will start moving homeless people from tent encampments into hotels and motels through a new program that launches Tuesday. Bass told NBC's Meet the Press host Chuck Todd that her plan to move homeless people into rooms immediately will not address everybody, but it is going to address, hopefully, a significant number. She said people will not be forced to move, but that sanitation crews will stand by to clean up areas after people have left. But this is not coercing people. This is not ticketing people or incarcerating people. This is moving people from tents to hotels or motels, she said. On her first day as mayor of Los Angeles, Bass declared a state of emergency on homelessness. She vowed to get people housed and more housing built so that residents can see a real difference, which hasn't been visible despite billions spent on programs to curb homelessness, including $1.2 billion in the current city budget. A poll by Elon Musk on whether he should quit as Twitter CEO showed the majority of users of the social media platform who took part voted in favor of the move after the poll ended on Monday. About 57.5% votes were for yes, while 42.5% were against the idea of Musk stepping down as the head of Twitter, according to the poll the billionaire launched on Sunday evening. Over 70.5 million people took part in the vote. Musk said on Sunday he will abide by the results of the poll, but did not give details on when he would step down if results said he should. Shares of Tesla Incorporation, the electric car maker Musk heads, were up more than 5% in pre-market trading. Musk, who lost his title as the world's richest person earlier this month, also founded tunneling enterprise Boring Company, backs medical device company Neuralink, and heads rocket company SpaceX. Tesla investors have been concerned Musk has been spreading himself too thin following the Twitter deal. Tesla has already lost nearly 60% of its value this year, as like other car makers, it battles supply chain issues and increasing competition in the EV space. After 11 seasons, Cecily Strong has said farewell to Saturday Night Live a few hours before the last episode of the season Saturday. The TV show's Instagram account posted a cue saying, "We will miss you, Cecily." The caption read, "Tonight we send off one of the best to ever do it," a two-time Emmy nominee for her work on the show. Strong was known for characters like the girl you wish you hadn't started a conversation with at a party, and impressions of people like Fox News host Judge Jeanine Pirro and US Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. During Saturday's show, she broke character as Michael Che's drug-addicted neighbor Kathy Ann on Weekend Update to give a personal statement. "I had a lot of fun here," she said, "and I feel really lucky that I have had so many of the best moments of my life in this place and with these people that I love so much." Avatar: The Way of Water didn't make quite as big of a splash as many assumed it would, but James Cameron's big-budget spectacle still helped breathe life into the box office this weekend. The sequel earned $134 million from North American theaters and $300.5 million internationally for a $434.5 million global debut, according to studio estimates on Sunday. It tied with The Batman as the fourth highest domestic debut of the year, behind Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and Thor: Love and Thunder. Now it's time for global updates. A 73-year-old man shot and killed 5 people at a suburban Toronto condominium building before police officers killed him, authorities said. Chief James Maxwin of the York Regional Police said one of his officers fatally shot the gunman at a condo in Vaughan, Ontario. Police did not disclose a possible motive for the attack or release the names or ages of anyone who was killed, including the alleged assailant. But Ontario's Special Investigations Unit, which gets involved when there is a death or serious injury involving police, said Monday that the alleged attacker was 73. Harinder Singh, Maxwin said late Sunday. 6 deceased. One of them is the subject. The other 5 are victims. One person who was shot by the attacker was hospitalized and was expected to survive, the chief said. Maxwin said he didn't know whether the shooter lived at the condo building. York Regional Police say officers were called to the Vaughan, Ontario condo for an active shooting around 7:20 p.m. Sunday. Police evacuated the building on Sunday, but Maxwin said there was no further threat to the community. Residents were allowed to return home early Monday. A flight from Phoenix to Honolulu carrying many people traveling for the holidays encountered severe turbulence shortly before landing, sending some unrestrained people and objects flying about the cabin and seriously injuring 11, officials and passengers said. In all, 36 people received medical treatment following Sunday's turbulent Hawaiian Airlines flight for bumps, bruises, cuts, and nausea, said Jim Ireland, director of Honolulu Emergency Medical Services. 20 people were taken to hospitals, including 11 in serious condition. "We are also very happy and we feel fortunate that there were not any deaths or other critical injuries. And we are also very hopeful that all will recover and make a full recovery," Ireland said. The full flight had nearly 300 people aboard and carried many passengers traveling to Hawaii for the holidays. The death toll from a fuel tanker explosion in a tunnel north of the Afghan capital Kabul rose to 31 on Monday, a Taliban government spokesman said, as more bodies were pulled out from the site and rescuers continued to search for survivors. The cause of the blast on Saturday evening in Salang Tunnel, around 130 kilometers from Kabul, remained unclear. The tunnel, originally built in the 1960s to assist the Soviet invasion, is a key link between North and South Afghanistan. Initially, at least 19 people were reported killed. A health ministry spokesman, Zaman Amarkhail, said the number of fatalities climbed to 31 and that 37 people were injured. Former Afghan President Hamid Karzai expressed his condolences over the blast, saying he received news about the dead and injured in the explosion in Parwan province with great sadness. Thai Navy ships and helicopters searched Monday for more than 30 sailors still missing 24 hours after their warship sank in rough seas in the Gulf of Thailand. Survivors described chaotic scenes as they struggled to survive while the ship went down, and the Navy commander confirmed there were not enough life jackets for everyone on board. As of Monday night, 75 sailors from the HTMS Sukhothai corvette had been rescued and 31 were still missing, the Navy said. The high waves that caused the accident had lessened since Sunday night's sinking, but were still high enough to endanger small boats, the Navy said. Details about the sinking and the initial rescue effort were still unclear. One sailor told Thai Rat television that there were not enough life jackets because more people than usual were aboard the ship. In comments broadcast by another station, PPTV, Navy Commander Administration confirmed that was true. China's health authorities on Monday announced 2 COVID-19 deaths, the country's first reported fatalities in weeks, amid an expected surge of illness after it eases its strict zero-COVID approach. Outside a funeral home in eastern Beijing, dozens of people were bundled up in parkas and hats against the freezing temperatures Friday evening as workers in full protective suits wheeled out coffins one by one. When an employee with a clipboard shouted the name of the dead, a relative trundled up to the coffin to examine the body. One of the relatives told the Associated Press their loved one had been infected with COVID-19. Deaths linked to the coronavirus are appearing in Beijing after weeks of China reporting no fatalities, even as the country is seeing a surge of cases. That surge comes as the government last week dramatically eased some of the world's strictest COVID-19 containment measures. On Wednesday, the government said it would stop reporting asymptomatic COVID-19 cases since they have become impossible to track with mass testing no longer required. That halt in reporting made it unclear how fast the virus is spreading. Social media posts, business closures, and other anecdotal evidence suggest huge numbers of infections. It's also unclear how many people are dying from the virus. Russian President Vladimir Putin made a rare trip Monday to Moscow's ally Belarus as his forces pursued their campaign to torment Ukraine from the air amid a broad battlefield stalemate almost 10 months into the war. Putin's visit came hours after Russia's latest drone attack on Ukraine. Moscow has been targeting Ukraine's power grid since October as part of a strategy to try to leave the country without heat and light during the bitterly cold winter. The Russian leader's brief trip to Minsk could herald more military support for the Kremlin's war effort, after Belarus provided the Kremlin's troops with a launching pad for the invasion of Ukraine last February. Belarus is believed to have Soviet-era weapons stockpiles that could be useful for Moscow. Lukashenko, meanwhile, needs help with his country's ailing economy. It was a rare trip to Minsk by Putin, who usually receives Lukashenko at the Kremlin. Moscow has kept up its war effort despite Western sanctions and the supply of Western air defense systems to Ukrainian forces. Iranian authorities arrested one of the country's most renowned actresses Saturday on charges of spreading falsehoods about nationwide protests that gripped the country, state media said. The report by IRNA said Taraneh Alidosti, star of the Oscar-winning movie The Salesman, was detained a week after she made a post on Instagram expressing solidarity with the first man recently executed for crimes allegedly committed during the protests. The announcement is the latest in a series of celebrity arrests that have included footballers, actors, and influencers in response to their open display of support for anti-government demonstrations now in their third month. According to the report published on the state media's official Telegram channel, Ali Dosti was arrested because she did not provide any documents in line with her claims. Now it's time for business news. Now a look of today's sports stories. Lionel Messi is not ready to walk away from Argentina yet, despite ending his pursuit of a World Cup winner's medal. The soccer great secured the one major trophy that has eluded him in his storied career as Argentina beat France 4-2 on penalties in the final at Lusail Stadium on Sunday. The match finished 3-3 through extra time, with Messi scoring twice and converting his penalty in the shootout. At 35, this is likely his last appearance in soccer's biggest tournament, but he confirmed after the match that he intends to play on. If he wants to keep playing, he can be with us. He is more than entitled to decide if he wants to stay with us, Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni said. Messi put Argentina ahead from the penalty spot and played a part in Angel Di Maria's goal that made it 2-0 after 36 minutes. Mbappe scored 2 goals in a 97-second span to take the game to extra time. Messi put Argentina back in front in the 108th minute, but Mbappe's penalty in the 118th minute saw the Paris Saint-Germain star complete the first hat-trick in a World Cup final in 56 years. Pitcher Kodai Senga can opt out of his contract with the New York Mets after the 2025 season if he totals at least 400 innings in the next 3 seasons. Senga, who was to be introduced at a Citi Field news conference on Monday, gets a $5 million signing bonus as part of a $75 million 5-year contract. He receives salaries of $14 million annually from 2023 to 2027 and can opt out of the deal after the 2025 season if he pitches a total of 400 innings from 2023 to 25. There is a $15 million conditional team option for 2028 that the Mets could exercise if Senga does not opt out and has Tommy John surgery or a right elbow injury that causes him to go on the injured list for more than 130 consecutive days. Let's have a look on today's weather chart. That's all in today's news. Keep watching Millennium News 24 for latest updates. Millennium TV USA and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment program. Thank you.